Hi, everybody. So today I wanted to do something a little bit different and look at a third party tool that has kind of caught my eye a little bit that I wanted to investigate. Now, I haven't really used it that much, so you're going to come along on this journey with me as we start to look at this tool. But I think it's something that you will find helpful, and especially if you're doing, say, open source software, because it's going to be free forever, which I think is great. But even if you're not doing open source software, it's still a tool that I think you should consider looking into because it's a great way to get a kind of a holistic view of your security profile of your repositories and enforce that security profile. So, obviously, the company that I'm looking at today is Stacklok, and they have a couple of different technologies out there that they've created. Right? If we take a look at their products page, then they've got Trusty, which is a free to use service to help you vet your supply chain risks of your OSS packages. I'm not looking at that one today. What I want to look at today is this product they have called Minder, which, as you see here, it's a software security platform for open source developers and communities. Now, what I'm finding interesting about this, and one of the reasons I want to look at it, is if we go to the next page here, then you're going to see they have Minder Cloud. So they have now released a cloud-based version of their Minder product, which will be free for public repositories. So if you're doing open source, free for life. And you look in their frequently asked questions, they call that out specifically, free for life for public repositories, which I think is great. And the idea behind this Minder Cloud is it helps open source developers and the communities ensure that the projects that they're building are secure. And it does that both not just like with, say, scanning or something like that, but also making sure you're following other best practices like using branch protection rules or making sure that you've got secret scanning turned on. So there's a lot of things that it can do. So what I wanted to do in this video is actually, let's just go through the whole process. Let's see if we can set ourselves up with an account and see what we can do to make this work. So I'm here at the stacklok.com page, and I'm just going to say, okay, let's go to Minder Cloud. And if I click that link, it's going to take me to cloud.stacklok.com, where then it's going to onboard me. Now, obviously, I've played with this some previously, so I have some things pre-filled in, but that's okay. So because I don't have anything currently set up, it prompts to walk me through the process of getting everything set up. So the first step here is asking me for, say, my organization name. So I'm going to say I'm going to use my Mickey Goose org, and we'll click next. Now, after that, I'm going to need to authorize this to be able to access the organization that I want to authorize. So I'm probably just going to throw up some blank page or something, so I don't necessarily show you a bunch of things that I don't want to show you, but I am going to click the authorize button. That's going to take me over here where I need to select the user that I want to authorize to Minder by Stacklok. So I'm going to select my user. And then I need to select where I want to install the Minder by Stacklok GitHub app. This is what it's going to use to help talk back and forth. So I've got a specific organization that I want to use. So let's move forward here. We're looking for our Mickey Goose org. And there it is. There's my Mickey Goose org. So we're going to select that organization. And since this is a GitHub app, I can give it access to all repositories, or I can give it access to specific repositories. So this would depend on whether you want to use Minder by Stacklok against all your repos or only a certain subset of the repos. So for in this case, we'll say only select repositories, and we'll come in here and select the appropriate repositories that we want to use. I had let's do this correctly. If I type gas, then I've got a gas bootcamp one, and just for grins, if I do JavaScript, I've got a JavaScript one. And let's see if there's one other one I might want to add in here just because we can. Oh, let's say, just for grins, yeah, let's add in my get a dad joke. And then I click install and authorize, and this is installing the GitHub app, so you've got to have the rights on your organization to be able to install the GitHub app. And so now now that I've set up all the communication so it can talk back and forth, it takes me back to selecting the repositories I actually want Minder to deal with. So I'm going to start off by just selecting my gas bootcamp and my get a dad joke. I'm not going to select the JavaScript demo right now, so I'm only going to select 2 of the 3 that it can access. And I'm going to click finish. You'll notice at the bottom right, which you can't see because my picture's in the way. Can I get that out of the way in time? Well, and it's already disappeared, is that it was saying it was setting up my dashboard. So basically, here's my dashboard right now. Now, first thing I'm going to call out is this is in alpha. So mileage may vary. Things may change, but I wanted to kind of get this out there because I think it's a really cool product. Now, what I like about the dashboard is right now it doesn't have anything to show me, but it does pop up saying, hey, you might want to enable secret scanning. That's something that we can tell is missing that you might want. Or you might want to enable secret scanning push protection. Or you might want to disallow force pushes. Now, to get started with Minder, you start off by creating a profile. And if I click the Create Profile button here, it's going to create a profile specifically for just this one rule. Instead, I could either click up here to create my first profile if I wanted to do it a little bit differently, or if I go over to the Profiles page, we can see all of the profiles that we've created against this organization, and right now we don't have any. So I will click New Profile. Now, Minder has a lot of rules out of the box that it can check for and apply. I think when I recorded this video, it was about 35. Out of the box, they have some default profiles you can select from. So they have a GitHub repository profile that ensures you have some basic security settings in place for your GitHub repositories. Or they have GitHub Action Workflow profile, which will check certain things. A dependency security profile that'll check certain things. Artifact security that'll check certain things. And you can have multiple profiles enabled against your organization. You can also create your own custom one. So let's just go right now with the GitHub repository security. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to click Apply. And we'll give that just a minute to get itself applied. As you can see, we've got one profile defined, that GitHub repository security profile that we selected. Currently, auto remediation is off, and there are 3 rules that make up this profile. Over here, I have the ability to turn on or off GitHub security advisories. I also have the ability to turn on automatic remediation or even remove this profile if I don't want it anymore. And if I select the profile, then it shows me the different rules that make up this profile. In this case, it's these 3 rules. Code QL is enabled, secret push protection is enabled, secret scanning is enabled. I can always add another rule. So if I wanted to add a rule to this, which kind of then makes it kind of a custom profile, I can do that. If I select a particular rule like code QL is enabled, then on the right-hand side, it gives me the details of that rule. So it explains to me kind of what that rule is doing, what it's checking for. If we look at secret push protection is enabled, It gives us configuration information here, so then we're able to configure, in this case, there is a configuration option on skipping private repos. Secret scanning is enabled. Where again, there is some configuration information that we can set. So you can come in here and modify your profiles as necessary. Now, since we do have this turned on against those two repositories, if we go back to our dashboard, then now you're going to see we're getting some pretty pictures. In this case, we're seeing that we have two alerts that have some both some high and some medium alerts open against them. And then over here, we can see the total number of alerts that we have. Now, if we go to now these two links here take you to the appropriate tab on the left-hand side. And if we go to the repository tab, this shows us that for each of our repositories, Get a Dad Joke and Gas Bootcamp, we have 2 high alerts and 1 medium alert. So if we go into, say, Get a Dad Joke, then we can see for this particular repository, the profiles that are being applied to this repository, the alerts that were thrown, their severity. We can see the details on the alert and what if it needs remediation, and some more information about what might be causing this alert, and some links to the documentation, which is great. And if we actually go out to this particular repository now, so if we go out to, and we can get there by just, clicking View Repository. So if we go out to this repository and we go to Settings, and we go to Code Security and Analysis, and we scroll down, and we can see secret scanning is turned off. So let's enable it. So we're going to enable secret scanning, but we're not going to enable push protection. If we come back over here to Minder now and do a refresh, then you'll notice that we're now down to 2 alerts. The secret scanning being enabled alert has now been closed. So what Minder has done has let us know that there are things that we need to go fix, and then as we go and fix them, it's going to then update the dashboard, update the alerts appropriately. You can see if we come back over to the dashboard, now we've only got 5 total alerts. Now, if we go to the alerts page, you're going to see a list of all your alerts and, information that you may care about, such as status, severity, remediation, etc. And again, clicking an alert gives you the details of that particular alert. So it gives you and how you might want to fix it. So this is great. Just this is great, right? Because this gives you a good view of how secure your repositories are. But Minder takes it one step further, because in a profile, for example, this profile, I can say turn on automatic remediation. And by turning on automatic remediation, it's going to look at all of the things that we have set for this profile. And if it can automatically remediate these, automatically fix any problems that are discovered because of these rules, then it's going to try to automatically fix those. So if we go back over to our dashboard, then you're going to see we're now down to just 2 alerts. And if we go over to the alerts page, you'll notice that all of the secret scanning alerts are gone. The code scanning is still here because that can't be easily auto-remediated. It's something that I'm going to have to go touch. However, the secret scanning, it could turn on. And in fact, if we come back in here and this was our Get a Dad Joke, and we refresh this page, then you'll see that the push protection button, which is currently set to enable, is now going to be set to disable, meaning that it got enabled automatically by Minder. And the other nice thing about auto remediation is, let's say I enable this. Then if we give it just a moment, and we may not even catch the alert, But AutoMinder, or not AutoMinder, but Minder is going to realize that I went out of compliance. And let's do a refresh. And turns push protection back on. I love that feature. I love that we can have this product that's going to follow the rules and kind of make sure that our system stays in the state that we want it to stay in. Now, if we wanted to create another profile, we can. So I could come over here and I could say new profile. And it takes me to, again, where I could select the existing profiles. But I'm going to create a custom profile. So we'll give this custom profile a name. We'll call it Mickey's Awesome Profile. Click Next. And then we get to see all the different rules that are available. Now this was interesting. I'm going to make a different video on this one. This is using their Trusty product that will verify that your pull request doesn't add any dependencies with a low Trusty score. So I find that interesting. I kind of want to compare that against, say, Dependabot and Dependency Review. But I think this would be a fun one to look at, which I'll look at in a separate video. But I have all these different rules that I can configure. For example, let's say I want to ensure that we have a branch protection rule. So I can select that rule and I can say add rule. And on the right hand side, in this case, there's some configuration that needs to happen. I want to make sure that we have branch protection rules against the main branch. Right now, these are using the standard branch protection rules that are at the repository level. I'm hoping they're going to add support for repository rule sets, which are the successor to branch protection rules, which have a lot of cool stuff in them that you can do that branch protection rules can't. But the branch protection rules are tried and true, trusted functionality that's built at each repository level that works great. But so we enable branch protection. We could enable things like CodeQL enabled, which is actually what we saw in one of the previous rules. Or maybe I could say I want to make sure Dependabot is configured. So I'm going to add this rule. So in this case, it's going to ask me for some things such as the package ecosystem that I want to work with, the apply file, etc. I don't think I want to add this one. Let's just add this one rule. That's fine. And if I go back to my profiles, we can see that I've got Mickey's Awesome Profile. I can turn on auto remediation if I want to, but I'll leave it off. But if we go back over to our repositories page, we'll see that each repository now has a high and a medium alert. And if we look at our alerts page, then we're going to see that each of the repositories that I'm using does need the branch protection rule enabled on it. Now, if you'll remember, initially I gave Minder access to 3 repositories, but I only added 2 into my current monitoring. So I can click Add Repository. And in this case, I can select my JavaScript repository. And you can look at this, that already it has found that the JavaScript repository is also in need of both CodeQL and the Stacklok, or the branch protection enabled. And then, of course, back on our dashboard, we're able to see this information updated as well. Now, remember, this product is in alpha, so you might run into something that's not quite working. I highly recommend that if you start using this product and you find bugs or you find functionality that you would like to see added in, like repository rule sets or whatever, that you send that information on to Stacklok, because they are actively working on this product and it is designed for people working in public repositories, open source developers. This is a great way for you as an open source developer, especially if you're monitoring or managing multiple repositories. This is a great way for you to understand the security posture of your repositories and ensure that they stay in the state you want them to stay in. So let me know what you think. Go check it out. Go check out Minder. Go check out Trusty. Go read up on Stacklok. And let me know. Let me know if you found this video helpful. If you did, I would love for you to like or subscribe to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Smash the bell, as the young people say, so that you can be notified of new updates. I'm doing this stuff because I love it and I love getting any kind of feedback. So leave me a comment, send me an email, hit me up on Twitter. But let me know, are you using this? Are you interested in using this? If you try to use it, I would love your feedback. All right. Have a great day.